How many people in here are right-handed? Show of hands. All right. How many people in here are left-handed? My girl. Did y'all know that? Oh, we got two. Sawyer. Did y'all know Justin. Oh, you just hold the camera. Did y'all know that everyone's originally left-handed until they commit their first sin? I'm just saying. All right, look it up. I am left-handed as well. So, but anyway, obviously with the numbers, there was a lot of people in here right-handed, and there was 3 of us that are left-handed. Anybody in here ambidextrous? Can do both? Yeah, Chris? Yeah, okay. So we got a couple there. I'm also that way with certain things. But there's a lot of, there's some disadvantages to being left-handed that most of y'all will not understand. Like when the teacher back in school was like, hey, come write on this whiteboard, and you're literally erasing as you write, right? Y'all right-handed people don't have to deal with that. We got a trail hand that just smudges everything. Man, I go to the Rowan County landfill a lot. And for the longest time, I'd have to go, I go dump my trailer, and I pull back around, got to get out, got to sign my receipt. Well, they had the pin on the right side with a chain on it. The chain was this long. So I'm sitting here like yanking this chain trying to get and finally, luckily somebody ripped it off. Probably another frustrated left-handed person like myself. But there's just some disadvantages there. But through my research, and this is just through my research, not my own opinion, there is some positives to being left-handed. For one, you got divergent thinking and creativity, enhanced brain connectivity, math and problem solving, multitasking. Like, what's up, right-handed people? Now, obviously, there's flaws in this because I have none of those. I think I also saw something where left-handed people are better with money. I'm the other statistic. I'm no, So obviously there's differences there, but the message today is not if you're left-handed or right-handed, but the Bible does bring it up. So today's message is titled, The Mollydooker with a Dagger. Does anybody know what Mollydooker means? I'll give you my whole life savings, which isn't a lot because I'm not good with money like most left-handed people. Anybody know? It simply means left-handed. It's Australian. It's not a Bible term. Okay, it just sounded good with the title. So, the Mollydooker with a dagger. This story is, we're going to get dark. We're not going to get dark, really, but it's, if you're a man, you're probably going to enjoy it. If you're a woman, I'm sure you would too, but this is like a story you read, and just like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, I visualize this going on in my head so many times, and I may even try to act it out. We'll see how I feel. But let's turn to Judges. Let's turn to Judges 3. We're going to read through this. And it's some reading today. We got a couple of different readings that are going to be kind of lengthy, but I think you'll be entertained. So Judges 3, we're going to start in verse 12. We're talking about a man named Ehud today. Ehud, anybody heard of Ehud? Yeah. I didn't really know of him either. But Ehud is who we're talking about. So Judges 3, starting in verse 12, I believe. Is that what I told you, Justin? Yeah. Judges 3, verse 12. Ehud. We all know about the book of Judges. It's about basically the book of superheroes. Children of Israel just kept doing wrong. Then the Lord would punish them, put some crazy king in charge. They just made them suffer for a certain amount of years. So here we are again. Judges 3, verse 12. I'm going to start reading. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord strengthened Eglon, king of Moab, against Israel because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. Then he gathered to himself the people of Ammon and Amalek, went and defeated Israel, and took possession of the city of Psalms. So the children of Israel served Eglon, king of Moab, 18 years. But when the children of Israel cried out to the Lord raised up and delivered to them Ehud, the son of Gera, the Benjamite, a left-handed man. By him the children of Israel sent tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now Ehud made himself a dagger. It was double-edged and a cubit in length, and fastened it under his clothes on his right thigh. So we'll stop. I want to kind of break it down as we go, because there's a lot, and I don't want everybody just to drown me out in here, you know. So to this point, we know the children of Israel, they did evil inside of the Lord. The Lord punished them. They were under this horrible time for 18 years. And then they cried out to the Lord finally and said, Lord, please send us someone. So he picks Ehud, the Benjamite, the left-handed man. He's the one that's going to come in and help. Now, why is being left-handed important in this story? And we will find out more. But typically, most people in this time, just like this time when we raised our hands, most people are right-handed. Most warriors were right-handed. Everybody had a sword in their right hand, which means they had their sword strapped to their left leg. So you pull it out like this. You're not going to pull it out like this, right? So typically, when you're going to go in to present something to a king and you have to get through the security, they're probably just going to pat down this side to make sure you don't have a sword there. Your left side, because you're right-handed. Most people were. It was very rare and still is to be left-handed in nature. So they only really checked. They would get lazy, most likely, and just check this side. Okay, it's good, no sword. Okay? So he made this double-edged dagger. Double-edged, about, 6 inches, whatever cubit it was. Not very big, and strapped it to his right leg. Okay? So let's keep going. So he fastened it under his clothes on his right thigh. So he brought the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now, Eglon was a very fat man. I love that. Eglon was a very fat man. I'm out of the New King James Version. There's no fancy way to say that. He's just a fat man. Anyway, and when he had finished presenting the tribute, he sent away the people who had carried the tribute. And then we're still talking about Ehud here, but himself turned back from the stone of images that were at Gilgal and said, and he's talking to the king now, I have a secret message for you. So this entices the king, right? And he says, keep silence, talking to everybody else in the room, all the servants and stuff like that. Keep silence. And all who attended him went out from him. So it's just him and Ehud. He's like, I want to know this secret. What you got? So Ehud came a little closer, and I just imagine him walking closer. And it says, and Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in the summer. Basically, this let me read mine so it's a little easier to understand. So Ehud came to him. Now he was sitting upstairs in his cool private chamber. Then Ehud said, I have a message from God for you. So this king's like, what is it? And I just imagine Ehud. I imagine him in a movie, getting up beside his ear, I have a message from God. I don't know why. I just was seeing it like this. And he was like, what is it? And he takes that dagger out, and it says, so he arose from his seat, and then Ehud reached his left hand, took the dagger from his right thigh, and thrust it into his belly. Even the hilt went in after the blade, and the fat closed over the blade, for he did not draw the dagger out of his belly. Y'all are like, Nick, what are you talking about this morning? What are we getting out here? This is crazy. I'm like, yeah. What guy in here is like, man, that's awesome, right? Anyway, the dagger didn't even come out of his belly, and it says his entrails came out, which is, let's not get too gory, but his intestines, they out. Then Ehud went out through the porch and shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. We're at verse 24. When he had gone out, Eglon's servants came to look. To their surprise, the doors of the upper room were still locked. So they said, he's probably attending to his needs in the cool chamber. So they waited till they were embarrassed. And still, he had not opened the doors of the upper room. Therefore they took the key and opened them. And there was their master fallen dead on the floor. But Ehud had escaped while they delayed, and passed beyond the stone of images and escaped to Sirah. And it happened when he arrived that he blew the trumpet in the mountains of Ephraim. And the children of Israel went down with him from the mountains, and he led them. And he said to them, "Follow me, for the Lord has delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hands." So they went down after him, seized the fords of the Jordan leading to Moab, and did not allow anyone to cross over. And at that time they killed about 10,000 men of Moab, all stout men of valor. Not one man escaped. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest for 80 years. But it all started with a left-handed man. They were under this this horrible time, this king that, it was just, who knows what all they went through. But obviously it wasn't good. It was bad enough where they had to cry out to the Lord, like, "Lord, please just save us from this nonsense," So Ehud came along, the left-handed man with a dagger. And today's message, once again, is not about being left-handed, which is awesome, but it's not about being left-handed. The point of this message today is about taking your unusual talent, your unusual skill, your unusual attribute about yourself, your unusual personality, or whatever it is, and having then the willingness to use it to God, or for God, and for God's purpose. That's the point of today's message. Ehud did not have to do that. I mean, that's a large task. Okay, God calls on you to go kill a king. Like, obviously, we're not having to do that kind of action today. The Lord's not going to, just like Pastor George was talking last time we were here, like a year ago, how the Lord is not going to come audibly to you and say, "Go kill this man." Like, that's not how the Lord talks to us. But we do have something, and like I said, it was just funny to me, just how they really brought in the whole fat part of it. I don't understand why they really did that, I guess just because to give you the image of this king. And we're not talking about just overweight. We're probably talking about this massive 600-700-pound king that just sits on his butt, probably eats more than grapes. You always see that, right? Like the big pecking eating grapes. Like, nah, bro, he's eating turkey breast and stuff like that all the time. Anyway, sorry. But we have something that's pretty ugly in front of us today. And that's something called sin. And that's something called the devil. And that's something called this world and demonic things. Like, that's what's in front of us. It's not some king sitting in a chair that we have to stick a dagger through. It's this thing of sin and evil that we have to fight today. And everyone has their own battle with that in some kind of way, depending on what the Lord has blessed you with and how you can use that to attack it, right? So, there's a couple things I kind of want to talk through, then we're going to go to another longer part of Scripture. So, how do we know with what the Lord's blessed us with, how do we know what to even do with it or where to go with it? Here's the number one thing. The number one thing everybody's got to have before we can take the something special that the Lord gave us and apply it to our life. We have to have the desire to work for God. You have to have a desire to work for God. Here's the thing. We have a desire, a lot of us, and I'm not digging on anybody because it's everyone. We have a desire to get up and go work anywhere from 40 to 80 hours a week to provide for our family. We have that desire, and well, I have to do that. Well, I think we have to get the mindset that we have to work for God. Like we have to get our, and I'm working on this myself because it's so easy. Like, I'm here in this world right now. I got a family to feed. I got this and that, friends not to disappoint, and work not to disappoint, and I got responsibilities. It's so easy to think I have to do that, but we don't see, That's that much of our life we're working on right now when we got the whole rest of it in glory, right? So we need to be working on not only our life here and working for this life, but we need to be working for that eternal life. And who's going to be with us, right? Who's going to be with us? This box right here, that's awesome. We need to take it serious. Talking to myself, we need to take that serious. There's people I probably could put in there I haven't done yet. I need to get serious about it. I got to be willing to work for God, have the desire to work for God. So that's number one. Get the desire. That comes through prayer and dedication. I always fall back on my running and stuff like that because I have to have a desire to want to do certain things. Because even though it seems like I enjoy it, which I do enjoy running, but I more enjoy the after feeling of running. Because I promise you, if any of y'all come on a run with me, I'm not just like, no, I'm suffering. And it hurts. But I have a certain desire to get to a certain goal, so I do that. So we can't just think that we're just going to automatically have a desire to work for God. No, it's something we have to decide on our own through prayer, through reading, through just a simple mind change or how we outlook on life. Second, we have to start looking for the opportunities. You're going to have to start looking for the opportunities. They're not just going to be handed to us on a silver platter. They're not going to be like, you're not going to wake up every morning when you check your email and you're going to have an email from God. Okay, today I want you to do this, this, and this. It's not how it works. That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool if God was in your inbox in the morning, right? That'd be super cool. Well, technically he can be, just not on this thing. But in the morning, because I mean, a lot of times I wake up and I'm immediately on this thing. It's just like I go get me some coffee or whatever it is, looking through messages or emails or this or that. Sometimes I'm just aimlessly scrolling on Instagram, right? But what if I just made it a thing every morning to devote that time with God and check that inbox, read the Bible, and maybe then I'll actually kind of feel or those opportunities will present themselves more when my mind is set on His opportunities. So we have to look for the opportunities. We have to seek God through reading and praying. Basically just piggybacking off number 2. We have to seek God through reading and praying. And this is nothing that we don't know in here. This is nothing that is brand new or a theory. No, it's just simple. It's simple. It's the KISS method. Okay? And if y'all don't know what KISS means, it's just keep it super simple. Right? You wake up, you read, you pray, you seek God, and you will find God. That's how simple it is. But unfortunately, talking to myself, like, I don't do that all the time. So, unfortunately, that leads to opportunities going right past me. That ultimately leads to my desire not being strictly for God and what His work is. So I'm not seeking God through His reading and praying. So, getting back to Ehud, why was he selected again? Because he was left-handed, and in that instance, they needed a left-handed person that could conceal their weapon on the right, that could accurately and swiftly pull it out. Right? They could have sent somebody in there that was right-handed and tried to hide it, and then it would have been really awkward for them to reach with that left hand. They maybe we would have got eaten by the king instead of stab him. I'm just kidding. But Ehud, he was very efficient with his left hand because he was left-handed. And the Lord knew that's what it needed to be to get through that security, those checkpoints. Because you know what? They didn't just get to walk in there, right? Like we talked about before, there were security checks. Like you were going to see the king. It's like going to see Donald Trump or anybody in office. Like you're going to get searched. Now, I guarantee you go to see somebody like that now, they're not going to just check one leg. Like they're going to check it all. But it was just such a thing back then that it's very uncommon for a weapon to be on your right leg. So the Lord knew that. That was a very unique thing about Ehud. So with that being said, I want us to know this today. Whatever is unique about you, your uniqueness is useful, right? It is useful. Everybody in here is unique. Not one of us is the same person. Even Evie and Selah, they're twins, right? they're different people. They have different attributes. They have different uniqueness about them, right? So we have to say, okay, I'm just different. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm just different than everybody, okay, how can that difference and uniqueness be useful? In most cases, I did skip one, but I'm going to go back. In most cases, there's always like a general way of doing something or thinking about something in the population. If you were to take a poll, there's usually a mass way to do or think about something. And a lot of times, when we have a different approach to something or a different way to do something that's against the masses, it's scary and it's intimidating to even step out and do it. Because you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person that's like, well, how about we try it this way? When there's, one person want to do it this way and 50 other people want to do it a different way. Even though your way may be better, it's scary to step out and say, let's do it this way. But I want you to think about this. Any invention that's made an impact on this world, anything, was a different idea, was a unique idea. Because obviously it wasn't been done like that before. And one person was like, instead of a square wheel, how about we do a round wheel, or whatever. And that's just how things work. And they ultimately changed the way we live life because one person had the courage to step out with their unique idea. And now there's some things that people come up with that it's probably sent the world, it's definitely changed the world and how we live it, but it's probably not for the better. But, that's how it is. We're in a sinful place. So, remember, your uniqueness is useful. Also, the attributes you have. I'm talking about your looks. I'm talking about your personality. I'm talking about your skills. I'm talking about all these attributes that the Lord's blessed you with. That equals your ability to work for God. Your attributes will equal your ability. We just have to tap into it. God has made us all different. Like I was saying, different personalities, different thought processes, different skills, different appearances. I always say, because there's still people, and I'm sure there will always be people that believe, somebody with tattoos, it's just very sinful and it's a bad thing. And but I always say, maybe because I got tattoos, I can reach a different group of people. And you're like, well, that's just an excuse to get tattoos. Maybe. No. But, no, I think it's honestly true. Like, I can probably walk up to a group of people that don't believe in God with these tattoos, say they have tattoos, and they're going to feel naturally more comfortable. Okay, I'm not just talking about tattoos here. This can be anything. And obviously, I've given myself these. The Lord didn't put tattoos on me, right? But we have free will, and honestly, I believe you can still work through God, right, with certain things you decide. So, your attributes, what are they? You start thinking about them. And like I said before, like, how do we know what we should do with them? Wait, I already said that one, sorry. So, some people I feel like may be ashamed of some of their attributes, right? Like they may be ashamed of their personality. I know there's a lot of people, we probably have a 50-50 split in here, maybe more, of people that just don't care to get up in front of people, don't want to talk to anybody. Like me and my wife, we're pretty much opposite when it comes to that. Now, you get her talking, she can do some talking, right? And it's not a bad thing, but she'll say she doesn't want to get up. She says she doesn't want to lead people. She say this and that. But when she gets into that, she's super great at it, and she does great. And she can take control and be a leader and all this kind of stuff. So just because you're not willing to get up here and talk to a bunch of people doesn't mean you can't impact small groups and talk to other people and, just let the Lord lead you through that. So your attributes, your uniqueness, it's all for a purpose. God didn't just make you how you are for no reason other than just so you can reflect on how you are. Like, He made you how you are because He has a purpose and you have a use in this life to reach a certain amount of people, but it's ultimately on us to act on that. We have to go out and we have to do the work. The Lord gives you the abilities, the attributes, the uniqueness about yourself, but now it's time to act. If Ehud would have said, no, I'm not going to go do that, would the Lord found somebody else? Possibly. We don't know. It's not how the story played out. But what if he didn't? And then the children of Israel, who knows how many more years they would have been in that state. So we have to learn how to be willing. Be willing to use what the Lord has blessed us with. Let's turn real quick to, because some of you may be in here and like, I have nothing special about me. There's nothing that's going to stand out. There's nothing that I can use for the Lord. I have nothing to offer. I'm just a normal human being. Well, let me tell you this. His Spirit is special. If you have His Spirit within you, you have something unique. You have something special. And let's talk about that more. 1 Corinthians 12. 1 Corinthians 12. We're going to do a good bit of reading here. We'll break it up. 1 Corinthians 12, starting in verse 4. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 4. And it says, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are differences of ministries, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of activities, but it is the same God who works all in all. But all the manifestation of the Spirit is given to each one for profit of all. For to one is given the word of wisdom through the Spirit, to another the word of knowledge through the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another different kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But one and the same Spirit works all these things, distributing to all, each one individual as He wills. So this clearly says right here, it's talking about the Spirit of God, right? The Father, the Son, the Spirit. And once you accept Jesus, once you make that commitment and trust God, it's said and it's promised that Spirit comes within us. And if you have no other thing, and I think you're wrong, but if you don't think you have any other attribute or skills or something special about you other than that, that's enough. It's His Spirit. That's enough. And it just said in there how many things. I mean, and the list goes on. For one is given the words of wisdom through the Spirit, to another the word of knowledge through the same Spirit, to another faith by the Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit. So it's just naming all these things that we're all given certain things. Now, I don't know if anybody in here can just heal anybody, Now, anything can happen through the name of Jesus Christ. When the Lord wants to heal, I've seen healing in my lifetime. Like, that's not something that's just a fairy tale. I've truly seen God heal people, I believe. But the point is, we all, when we get that Spirit within us, the Lord is giving us certain attributes and certain skills and ways to use His Spirit. Let's keep going. Verse 12. It says, for as the body is one and has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit we're all baptized into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, whether slaves or free, and have all been made to drink into one Spirit. For in fact, the body is not one member, but many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where would be the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where would be the smelling? But now God has set the members, each of them, in the body just as he pleased. And if they were all one member, where would the body be? But now indeed there are many members, yet one body. And the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need for you, nor again the hand to the feet, I have no need of you. No, much rather those members of the body which seem to be weaker are necessary. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, on these we bestow greater honor. And our unpresentable parts have greater modesty, but our presentable parts have no need. But God composed the body, having given greater honor to the part which lacks it, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care for one another. And if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. Or if one member is honored, all members rejoice with it. Now you are the body of Christ, and members individually, and God has appointed these in the church. So, I want us to think about everybody sitting in this room right here. The Lord, now do y'all think it was just by chance that we're all here together? Or do you think this is divine, the Lord has brought this group of people for a certain reason? Think about it. We have a bunch of different things in this room. We got health care. We got on both sides, we got dental, we got nurses, we got construction, we got clothes selling, we got, I don't know what everybody does, but it's a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of stuff. When certain people here, we got fire marshal, we got firefighter, we got a wannabe firefighter. We got a bunch of things, like a bunch of things. I think we could truly do anything with the people in this room, with the skills that we have. But, along with us and probably 98 or 99% of churches, don't utilize that full potential of the skills that the Lord has given them. Because I truly believe that it's not by chance that everybody's sitting in here this morning. I truly believe that you're meant to be sitting here this morning or, with this group of people. And I think our purpose is much greater than just being selfish with our own worldly professions. Like, if the Lord made you good at electrical work, which not me. Like, I'm good if I can change like a ceiling fan or maybe swap a couple outlets. But there's some people that can do some serious electrical work. And that's super important in this time. Electricity is super important. And think about how many people are living without it or people that need help with it. They can't afford it or whatever it is. So instead of just using that skill or just for like our job, how can we put that forth? Or me as a builder, building what I truly believe I can build about anything. But what am I building it for other than myself and my family? Like, I'm going out building stuff to make money for my family, which we got to do. But how many times have I went out and selflessly took the skills of building and helped somebody truly in need? I can maybe count it on one hand, which is so sad. So sad. Because God did not give me that skill just to thrive on this world or in this world. He gave me that skill, I truly believe, especially after looking in this message and searching into myself, He gave me that skill to be able to impact His kingdom somehow. Using that skill to spread His name somehow, to help people in need and to shine a light on Him somehow. So think about that. What do I do for a living? What do I do for a living, or what did I do for a living that I became a master at, like a true professional at, and do it with my eyes closed, all that stuff. Like, what is that? Now, how do I take that and apply it to God and His works? And then, as a church, how do we then take everybody's different skills, everybody's different attributes, everybody's different personalities, all this, and then go out there and then turn that into one collective thing, right? Because it was talking about how everybody could have these different things going on, different abilities, but it's all through the same Spirit. We all have the same Spirit. We all serve the same God. So how do we unite all of our differences, all of our uniqueness, all of our attributes that are so different, and go out there and use them for God? Because I promise you, they're not by chance. What you're able to do is not by chance. It's not because you're so good at learning things. It's not because you dedicated your time to become a professional. No, it's because God allowed you to dedicate your time to become a professional at it, or really good at it. And now we have to know, I got to use that for His purpose and not my own selfish purposes. I think Danny said he's going to ship his well machine over Africa and drill some wells. Isn't that right now? That'd be costly. But what is it? What is it that you do every day that you're really good at? And how many times have you applied that for God? How many times can you count on more than one hand? I know we have people go on mission trips. I know we've had people do this and that, and I'm like just as guilty as anybody, if not guiltier, of not doing this, of not putting my skills to practice for the Lord. And I think the moment here's the thing. Everybody's all about, let's change the world. Let's make the world a better place. And I think we put too much effort into this world. That yes, this world, it'd be much nicer if it was a better place to live in. But ultimately, we need to be making heaven a better place by getting more people there, right? So I think we get it wrong sometimes in how we use our abilities. So we need to be more like Ehud this morning, willing to take our differences, our uniqueness, our special skill that the Lord's blessed us with, and go in there and fight and risk it all. Because he risked it all doing that. The Lord blessed him. The Lord got him out safely. But he had to make a very risky move of going to do this for the Lord. And he did it. And it took courage. It took bravery. It took willingness. I got 2 more verses talking about His Spirit and what it does for us. Because I think, and I've been talking about this, but I just think too many times we hide behind the fact that we don't have any special abilities, or we don't have things we could do. Like, I don't have any special skills. I can't do this. I can't do that. And once again, like, the main thing to take away from this, if you have nothing else, do you have His Spirit? Because that is a powerful thing. Acts 1:8. Acts 1:8. Acts 1:8. But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you. That's just the first part of it right there, and that's where we're going to stop at. But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you. Obviously, this is Jesus, right? Right before He ascends up into heaven, talking to His disciples. And their powers they got were a little different then, right? They still had a lot of work. They still had a lot of work to do to get people to continue to believe in Jesus. And they did that. And they paved that trail for us. But we have still our own power within us when we receive His Spirit. I think we forget about that power and how powerful that Spirit really is. So let's turn over to 2 Corinthians 3. Second Corinthians 3, 17. Second Corinthians 3, 17. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. 18. But we all, with unveiled faces, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. Like, once that Lord, or once the Spirit of the Lord comes in you, we are now the image of God. We are now an image of God. We should be acting as that way too, and trying to affect people in that way. But that's the key. It's having the Spirit. There's a lot of people in this world that make a difference in this world that don't have the Spirit. But they're just making a difference in this world. And how we do things, how we communicate, how we drive. That stuff impacts this world, but it does not impact the kingdom of heaven necessarily. But once you gain that Spirit, the Spirit of the Lord, and I hope everybody in here this morning, but there's going to be an opportunity here shortly if you've never gained the Spirit of the Lord to do that. Because once you do that, I feel like it's unlimited for the potential of how you can work for the Lord and how you can take those things that you've been blessed with, your skills and whatever it may be, and apply it for Him instead of just being selfish and lining our own pockets and feeding our own family. That's important. Obviously, we got to feed our family. We want to have a comfortable life here. I get it, but how comfortable does it have to be? And how much time are we not putting towards His cause versus our own? And I'm going to leave you with that this morning. And here in a moment, and Leo, you can go and start playing something, and everybody's going to stand up for me, if you don't mind. Let's just go and bow our head, close our eyes. And I want you to think as you stand here, have I been taking my abilities, my skills, the things the Lord have blessed me with to be able to do in this life, and have